A little bit of context. I was thinking about this, and 3 years ago, I was not married. I was not managing any people. I had been living by myself for about 10 years. And just to give you some context, I was very good at kind of leading and managing myself. And as a good introvert, I was very comfortable with that. I could manage my time around other people very perfectly, so that it was not too much because I don't want too much, and didn't really have to worry or be concerned about a lot of the things that we covered in this program, which are talking about how we're leading other people. So fast forward to today, I am married. I have that, part of my life now. I'm managing two people, and it's fitting that we were able to have this program at a time when, it's just very, very impactful for me. Whereas if we had had it before, I would have taken some stuff in, but it would not nearly have been as applicable, or it wouldn't have resonated with me nearly as much. So I was actually probably 2 or 3 months into this program, I was actually getting a little bit frustrated because I was overwhelmed with how much that I was realizing I needed to work on. And like Sharon, at that point, I was probably like, I didn't think I was that bad at leading. I wouldn't have given myself the highest scores, but I didn't think I was that bad. But then as we were going on, and I was realizing, man, there's, I have deficiencies here and here and here. And as a good process guy, I'm overwhelmed. I got too much going on here, and I just kind of wanted to stop the whole program for a bit and let me catch up to some of the things that I needed to do. But I'm so thankful that we had this, and I could go through several examples of things that I learned, but I'll pick out 3 that I think were the most critical for me, most eye-opening for me. One is the strength-based leadership, and those 5, top 5 qualities that came out of that. I learned that I am a learner and someone who likes to keep things in context. And I had never really self-reflected on that. It made a lot of sense once we did it. Learners like to learn new things, like to try to always improve. And the context part is like thinking about past and trying to reflect on that and improve, for the future. And that was kind of an interesting thing to know. But then it was, okay, well, how does that make me into a better leader? And that's when I started reviewing one of the handouts that you guys gave us early on, I think in the first mini camp, which was showed each of our 5 strengths and the different ways that you could apply that as a leader, with the categories of building trust, showing compassion, providing stability, and creating hope. And so one of the ways that I began to learn how to apply, those strengths of mine was to promote co-learning opportunities. So learning and developing is very natural for me, but then I realized, okay, it's not necessarily as natural for everybody else, and maybe not natural for my 2 guys that I'm managing right now. So that was one of the things that I started doing in the last couple of months, and it's one of my commitments going forward, is to promote those co-learning opportunities with my team to kind of help us all grow together, rather than just as myself, because I tend to focus on leading myself usually. So the second thing was with emotional intelligence, and that was, I would have said that I thought I had pretty good emotional intelligence, but then I realized after taking our test that my self-awareness was very low. And I think the reason was, and one of the strategies that they had for me was to observe the ripple effect of my emotions. So as an introvert, I spent a lot of time by myself, and I don't think I had really thought about, I was able to manage my time around other people and kind of like my emotional impact on other people pretty well because I kept it maintained. But this one really impacted me with my new married life, because, my wife and I are around each other all the time now. And and on top of that, she's an empathetic person. So she's like a chameleon with emotions. So, while I beforehand was able to, kind of manage my emotions around people and, always be kind of happy and chipper, and most people wouldn't see, but the times when I was sulky or in a bad mood or whatever, she was seeing all of that, she's around all of that. And she, as an emotional chameleon, was like taking that on, so I could turn her fantastic day into a really crappy day just because I get into a mood. and so this program kind of made me realize that was happening, and to be conscious of it. And it happened just, a couple of weeks ago. I kind of was getting in one of these headspaces, negative headspaces, and I kind of caught myself. because I started to realize that it was starting to kind of take its toll on her as well. And so that's, that's a huge, huge improvement. My scores actually went down as well, Chris, with EI, all my scores went down, but I think it's because it's like you realize now, okay, a lot of things I was answering ignorantly, blissfully ignorantly, beforehand. So anyway, and then the third thing I'll just say is the monkey management stuff that we covered. And it was fitting, at least for me, that our team covered that book, because I very much had the tendency to take all the projects on myself, manage them myself. I'm a perfectionist. I want to do it right and not get the team involved. And that just, that book opened my eyes to how much of a mistake that was. So learning to delegate, learning to get everybody involved was a huge thing for me. So those are the things that, that I've learned, and as well as, the commitments, the things that I'm working on. And I'll echo what everybody else said as far as appreciation, Dr. Gary, Bill, especially Larry, with all the coaching sessions, much, much appreciated. And to Pat and Robert as well, thank you for giving us this opportunity to learn, investing in us. It's been huge.